现场的召唤师们，让我感受一下你们的热情好吗？感谢徐博远，欢迎来到2018英雄联盟洲际系列赛亚洲对抗赛的总决赛现场。大家好，我是任栋。通过了昨天的半决赛，最终 LCK 赛区杀入到今天的决赛，将会和 LPL 角逐亚洲最强。在我身后，2大赛区8支队伍准备就绪。接下来，所有的玩家拿出你们热情的呐喊声，让我们欢迎战队登场。首先欢迎 LCK 4号种子战队。 有请 SKT。 有请 LPL 4号种子战队。掌声欢迎安静。欢迎 LCK 3号种子战队。有请 kickoff。 欢迎 LPL 3号种子战队。有请 RW。 欢迎 LCK 2号种子战队。有请 FLICKR。 有请 LPL 2号种子战队。欢迎 EDG。 欢 赛区集结完毕，将要在这里决出这次的洲际赛的冠军。究竟谁是亚洲最强？让我们拭目以待。同样可以看到冠军奖台已经在舞台中心了。接下来让我们有请上一届洲际赛冠军赛区 LPL 代表归还奖杯，欢迎 FLICKR。现场的玩家们再次用呐喊声给两大赛区加油好吗？终极一战当仁不让，2018英雄联盟洲际赛亚洲对抗赛现在开始。
我们已经到最后的决战了 ，LPL 不能有一丝的松懈。
LPL을 이길 수 있는 기회는 지금 단 한 번뿐이다. 지금 난 이 기회를 잡고 싶다.
这波有点，哎呦，还是被换了，全被秀了。K 那边又回起来，我的天，这个秒秒太绝望。
저희가 이제 2, 3위전 준결승전을 하고 이렇게 결승전을 왔는데 꼭 저희 한국팀의 실력을 보여드리겠습니다.
希望把这次洲际赛的冠军留在 LPL。
LCK 목표는 정원이 1등이다.
LPL 已经以小组第一的成绩进入了决赛，那我们一定会赢。上一年 LPL 也是夺得冠军嘛，然后今年我们来洲际赛也是为了卫冕。
저희가 4위 팀이기 때문에 저희가 이기는 게 LCK 우승에 있어서 큰 도움이 되기 때문에 저희가 꼭 어느 팀을 만나도 이기도록 하겠습니다.
In the Far East, 3 champions wander across the rift. One's a spirit who had it all, separated from his roots to find new paths. One's a falcon that soars above the sky, seeking vengeance to rule the world again. Then there is the hunter, a fearless man, gods and monsters being his prey. The champions are ready. We shall bring on the heat.
The appetizers are all out of the way. It's time now for the main course. Rift Rivals 2018 has come down to its final day. Welcome back, everyone. The battle for the best in the world is about to commence here in the Dalian Sports Center Arena on the stage behind us. My name is Dom. I'm going to be your host for today. Joining me here on the desk, we've got Barenta Raz Mohammed and Clement Chu. Gentlemen, this crowd is roaring.
Yep, I mean, whenever you have the LPL teams in front of an LPL audience, it's just incredible to see. I mean, RNG specifically, they come out, crowds go wild.
Yeah, but the decibels were also very high for KT right there because they were cheering for their homeboys, Death and Mara, which also played in the LPL. A lot of familiar faces for people to root for.
Of course, they have now swapped to the other side, so we could very well see that rivalry a little bit later today. But first, let's talk about what happened over the past few days in Rift Rivals. On Thursday, we started off the event with 2 days of a seeded best-of-1 round robin, wherein the LPL placed first, the LCK placed second, and the LMS placed third. LMS then played against the LCK in our first blind relay and was summarily eliminated. Of course, that means now that the LCK has advanced to today's grand finals against the reigning Rift Rivals champions of the LPL.
On a massive high as well. Anybody watched yesterday's games, they were demoralizing for the LMS and a sight to see if you're the LPL coming into this one because now you have a lot of tape. Incredible tape to see how LCK is going into this one.
It was pretty much a highlight reel for the Korean players, but
yes.
I don't think the LPL actually got much out of it. Complete blindside picks and almost just comfort wins.
So let's now talk about the structure of today's matches. Again, it is a best-of-5 blind relay, which has only 2 simple rules. Every team must play once before you can get a repeat, so no repeats until Game 5. Second rule, of course, being that both regions will pick their pick their team to play at the end of the previous game. That is done blind. Now, the LPL with first seed, they get side selection in today's games 1, 3, and 5. That puts LCK on 2 and 4.
Yep, and so that means side selection for the LCK. Maybe you want to stash it going in there. That's where the strategy is involved. That being said, you don't want to put your best team to the very end. We saw what happened for the LMS. Mad not seeing a single damn game of play because of how quick it was handled.
And to talk about side selection, every team so far has actually picked up the red side. The counter pick and the laning phase seems to be the most important thing so far.
And of course, to help illustrate that point, though, once again, we had our expert analysts do a mock draft. So, gentlemen, why don't you walk us through how you decided to set this up? Of course, we knew what the first game was coming into this, but the rest of the teams were unknown. Raz, you took the LCK. Clement, you took the LMS.
Yeah, immediately, of course, you got to understand who the best team, worst team, and the team that has the interesting strategy. For me, best team for KT makes a lot of sense to put them in first, and that's how I ranked it for myself.
Yeah, your LCK rank definitely looks like a power ranking by the sequence right there. For the LPL, I just wanted to preserve forward momentum. I never want to fall behind, so that's why I've had my strong team without side selection and RNG coming in second.
And of course, you don't want to get 0-3'd. I see that's why both of you have placed your quote-unquote #1 teams within those first 3 games so they do compete. On the flip side, though, I want to talk about these burner teams. Which team are you trying to discard or hide against a higher tier team?
Interestingly enough, my burner team would be SKT being the worst team, but I felt like immediately going into it, I had the strongest teams going into this one, KT and Afrika, so I had no reason to utilize the burner team. They're coming in at the very end.
Same for me. Even though Rogue Warriors is my worst team out of the 4, I did not use them as a burner. I think this matchup is all going to be about the early matches because we have all the strong teams up front.
So that's what I want to ask then. You just saw the matches on your screen. Where do you find your first 3 wins? Or do you try to go for the quick 3-0? Or are we going to get a 5-game series, gentlemen?
I'm trying to take this one quick. Essentially, KT, I feel, has been dominating, hasn't lost a single game throughout the groups, and of course, yesterday's games. So putting them in immediately, having the Afrika Freaks come in second makes a lot of sense because they have side selection and they are the most creative team coming into this one. So immediately my strategy, take it in Game 3. If it goes to Game 4, then pray that you don't get to the Game 5.
Reasonably, I think I'm going to get my wins off of Game 1, 2, and then 5. Invictus Gaming versus KT, I think it's a fairly good matchup. I'm burning my 3rd most strongest team against your top team, and I have side selection in, so that makes it a 50-50. I'm really happy with that. RNG, at this point, MSI champions, I feel like they should have the swagger to say we can beat any team aside from KT.
And, of course, to help contrast this with what the teams are actually going to be doing live, we had all of our analysts pick this draft before, without the results of the previous games taken into account, whereas today, the teams will be able to adapt and pivot on the fly. If you had the ability to do that, does that change your draft, Raz?
A lot. I think immediately a lot of people wonder about RNG as the strongest team. With this in mind, with this draft, because you have to do it before all of the games happen, that you don't get to, ultimately you have to hope that you don't lose repeatedly. But you can theoretically in the draft that they've been utilizing, hold RNG until you realize you're going into a 0-2, and then you can just throw your strongest team out there. That being said, I think there is merit to momentum. Having the early wins matter for the teams that are coming into this one. So if you're a Rogue Warriors, for example, you want to be coming in with the previous team taking a victory because they're an emotional team and they can ride that high.
We're both LPL experts here, and I do agree with you. The reason I'm putting RNG second is if IG don't make it, I don't want to be staring at a 0-2. I don't think Rogue Warriors or EDG are going to carry me after that big of a loss. So they have to come in if IG loses. But if they win, I'm pretty happy to hold them on for later and then have them have side selection.
So that's something I want to follow up with you for, Clement. As the LPL representative, is there a specific team that you're trying to hunt for to give you that favorable matchup so that maybe it doesn't have to go to 5?
All right, now this will... I think Afrika is the one that I'm looking for. Their playstyle is actually the most countered by the LPL teams, where they don't put as much emphasis into the bot side.
All right, well, of course, that was our mock draft that we had with our analysts to help explain the structure. Before we get into our first game, though, let's hear Jackie Love's thoughts on the LCK playing against the LPL.
第一天我们打的时候，其实就是每个人的话，感觉就是状态还不错吧，然后也没什么太大的压力。然后因为第二天我们打 SKT， 然后前期还是有点劣势，所以就在场上打的时候，还是就会有点紧张什么的，因为就是打的就也是第一次打他们嘛。然后翻盘的话还是比较开心。我觉得 LCK 这个赛区的话，他们是运营比较厉害的。然后我们 LPL 赛区的话，就是前期有优势的话，打小规模团战会比较厉害。觉得我们碰到他们的话，就是尽量不给他们就是能长时间运营的机会的话，我们就是打他们还是会赢的。
Ooh, looks like JackieLove is excited to get into this, but I actually want to turn our attention to the top lane, gentlemen. We've got the Shy making his way back, his second game since he left in spring, taking on the wonderful Smeb, who is known for such amazing flanks as this.
And this is the thing, because immediately we've been discussing side selection, because in this one, in this play, he got his hands on the counter pick Kennen. He was able to blow up the backline in team fights, have strong laning phase, and you look towards the Shy who's coming in, and he had himself the counter pick as well. Now, this is where it's incredibly important, because the Shy, Smeb, incredibly strong top laners, and this is the impact that they can have when they get the picks that they want.
Yeah, the Shy is definitely going to have his way in lane, but I think for Smeb, it's about how he can perform in team fights. We just saw right there the Kennen going into the back. Those are those big champion picks that we have to watch out for. These are two of the three best Jace players in the world right here. The other one, of course, Khan still sitting by.
Yeah, so you're telling me we're going to get some excitement in that top lane. Have we got any predictions for how this is going to go?
In predictions for the game, I'm gonna have to go with KT. Even though the Shy is coming in and he's incredibly strong as a laner, you saw the stats he was able to roll out with Aatrox. He won't get a hand on that pick. And even if they play to their old style, where they were the dominant team of the LPL, KT has been so methodical, incredibly smart, and they can pick you apart on the map later
I have to go with Invictus Gaming. You're talking about laning kingdom right here, and they do have the counter picks for both the top lane and the mid lane right here. Rookie is the best laning player the LPL has ever seen, and he's going up against UCal, which I don't think has faced good competition.
Look, we saw what the laning phase looked like for KT yesterday. That's what's making me afraid.
That's Uji though.
Understandable, but that was across the map. KT dominance. So going up against Invictus Gaming, it won't look like that, but it's going to be matched, and that's what I'm afraid of. If it's matched, then we talk about the later stages of the game, and KT have that handled.
I actually do agree with you right there. Team fighting has never been Invictus Gaming's strong part, and this man could decide the game, score in the early game. If he can get those lanes that have been countered rolling into the late game, I actually do think KT have a very good chance, but Ning should be able to counter that.
Do you think that they will be able to take the early game then? Because if you're thinking that IG wins. All right.
If Score gets his early game.
All right, gentlemen, we've got our rosters on screen. KT Rolster, the roller coaster, Smeb, Score, UCal, Deft, and Mata starting things off for the LCK. Their opponents from the LPL, it's the Shy, Ning, Rookie, JackieLove, and Baolan.
There we go. And for me, Rookie coming into this one, we already have a lot of discussions on those laning phase statistics. Going up against UCal has been flying high. So between both of those guys, that's going to be the most important laning phase to watch, how that one rolls. And if Score can really impact that.
Every single matchup looks to be one that is absolutely ripe with attention, ready to just crack out into an all-out fight. Of course, we'll have to see whether or not that's going to be the case, or if we could just get some nice standard slow play. You know, this is a friendly game with no implications.
So you're saying KT's going to do well today, basically. But I'm really worried about Invictus Gaming's bot lane, because this will be their international debut. Baolan and JackieLove have never played in a big stage, and they haven't really shown the ability to weather the pressure in terms of the playoffs, in terms of high matches. So that's one thing that I'm going to be paying very close attention to, because on the other end, you have Deft and Mata.
Deft has been so damn strong this time around. And you're right about JackieLove. When he's found himself behind the spotlight, he's been crumbling. So this is his one opportunity to be able to hit it home.
We'll see if that's going to be it. Though that being said, it's now time for us to get into the battle for the best region in the world. As we go, though, Smeb will share his thoughts on playing against his old friend, the Shy.
일단 IG가 좀 싸움을 좀 잘하는 것 같더라고요. 그래서 아무래도 제 생각에 핵심 라인은 미드일 것 같고요. 그래서 루키 선수랑 유칼 선수가 얼마나 잘 싸우냐에 따라 좀 달라질 것 같고, 더샤이 선수 같은 경우에는 굉장히 오랜만이에요. 서로 친분이 있는데 같이 이제 게임 한 거는 이제 좀 오래됐거든요. 그래서 굉장히 재밌을 것 같아요.
Great to hear from Smeb there, and welcome to the Caster Desk. Once again, it is I, Atlas, joined by PubSmithy and FLICKR, and on my other side, I've got the ultra amounts of LCK bias and the ultra amounts of LPL bias alongside me, so I can be as unbiased as possible.
But some deep-seated LPL fandom, of course. You and I are both LPL casters back in the day.
We don't need to tell them that, PubSmithy.
Well, we're
we
still on the LCK side. It's just, you know, we have allegiances both ways.
Yeah, a bit of flavor of the LPL, but this is LPL purity on my other side with FLICKR.
Getting ready to flip-flop already, boys?
Have you been described as pure very often, FLICKR?
No, no one with a neck tattoo, a throat sticker is ever like pure, innocent.
Yeah, well, I mean, the LPL's definitely pure within FLICKR, and even if everything else isn't. But guys, we were talking about the top lane matchup over at the desk. I want to talk about Rookie versus KT, because this has been a long time coming.
And in fact, it's a homecoming in many ways. Rookie was a KT Rolster Arrows champion of OGN Champions Winter, and it's a bit of a KT celebration as the bannerman of KT Rolster in the League of Legends era. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday to Score.
Yeah.
Turns 26 on this day, and to me, Score can be the game breaker. Smeb saying mid lane's where it's all about. It's mid jungle, and I think the jungler here, in kind of the lane kingdoms to some degree of KT and IG, could be the game breaker.
Yeah, I'm completely aligned with you. I think this is all going to be about Score and Ning. We saw Score absolutely demolish Raze yesterday, just a clinical dissection of that team. And Ning has really been playing from the back foot. Normally the LPL junglers like to prioritize their lanes, gank them a lot, whereas Score is just a pathing god so far. So I think all attention really needs to be on this jungle mid matchup and who's going to get priority there.
Yeah, and what we saw from Score was an absolute masterclass on the Kindred yesterday. Like
Immaculate something something.
Immaculate something something, absolutely perfect
Flawless
play. Mechanics were
flawless
flawless. Gorgeous stuff from KT, as long as you watch only up to about
And
11
now
minutes.
everyone is so hyped about KT Rolster.
We're all excited about KT Rolster.
The stage has been set. I'm ready, boys. I'm ready for the drop.
I feel like so many trigger words have been dropped, and we're not even in Champion Select for Game 1 yet.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
We need to set it up, because I feel like the more we go into getting excited, we can get over the hump, and then we're up to the next part, and then we're totally fine.
But ultimately, you have the exact same thing for Invictus Gaming. So don't worry, KT fans. You feel that you've been burned in the past. IG are also setting you up for disappointment. Every time we get excited for this team, they fall flat on their face.
I remember 2015 Worlds, believe
right
me.
at the finish line.
KT, Invictus Gaming, the England football team, they're all the same. Get too excited.
We're
you know
all
what happens.
poised. We're all poised, ready to get in there and be disappointed. Doesn't matter which side you're on, because IG, some similar flavor.
Speaking of the flavor of the audience here, because obviously we're in China, big crowd here in Dalian. What I feel this year is it feels like the rivalry and just the tournament has kind of entered a new phase. We're in a weird spot last year, kind of understanding what is Rift Rivals, and while we don't have an answer to that, it's electric in here. It's clear to both teams, just talking to the LCK players and coaches, they really have been focusing on this tournament with a renewed vigor, and that's because last year, if you consider Rift Rivals to Rift Rivals, every international tournament, barring Worlds, has been taken by China. So if you think of it as a calendar year, it's kind of been the year of China, even though China didn't get everything. They didn't get Worlds, but otherwise, the trophy case is huge.
Yeah, we've got a slight delay, ladies and gentlemen, getting into this game. It's a bit of a peripheral issue, so we're going to be into it as soon as possible. But before that, of course, we've got Frosco and Papa to talk about China versus Korea for as long as we can possibly hope.
Yeah, and for me, getting excited about KT versus Invictus Gaming, you have so many great
Said it
matchups.
again.
You have, I know, right? Getting excited. UCal versus Rookie. You have the Shy versus Smeb. We've been wanting to see these two top lane gods clash.
Do we want to talk about the bottom lane, Frosco? Do you want to talk about the bottom lane?
No, we're going to avoid that one
LPL
for just
fan?
a little bit. Hold on. But the idea for me is this, the coming of super teams. You know, in LPL, Invictus Gaming are considered a super team, but it's about the prodigies. It's about the Shy. It's about Jackie Love. Whereas on the other side, KT are a true super team. It's about the legendary people down there, like Deft and Mata in that bottom lane.
But has a constructed super team ever actually won something?
This is
if
why
you think
I'm
of
excited.
history, the ones that have been dubbed like, okay, on paper, a super team, they haven't worked. It took someone like Kingzone to bring back Khan and find pieces from all over the place to actually get what looked like a super team after the fact. It's very easy after someone's won to be like, oh, actually, best player in every role. But when it's being constructed, when that has been the theory, the results, KT Rolster as the prototype of this, haven't come along with it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily manufacturing the team, it's the teams that come up together and find those victories. Looking back to the GE Tigers in the old days as being one of those
prodigal.
And actually, just zooming in on the bot lane, I know it's a touchy subject. I'm sure for someone like FLICKR, you want to see something out of JackeyLove and Balan, less about whether they can beat KT on the day and what it would represent kind of in the overall scheme of right now. You think of the Western consciousness of JackeyLove, it's his big failings on big stages and his relative consistency away from the big stages.
It's just so unfortunate that they're looking down the barrel of Deft and Mata, who have on your screen right now, because I think right now in the world, this is the best bottom lane. Just watching them is such a treat in their 2v2 matchups, even in losing matchups.
So if you're IG's coach, what do you do knowing all that information? Knowing, okay, Deft and Mata, maybe the best laners, JackeyLove and Balan not performing. Do you take the Ezreal Tahm Kench away and try to play ultra safe? Maybe you lose by 10 CS, but you're still Ezreal and Tahm Kench. Or do you have a multiple ban, like really targeted strategy? There's kind of two ways to go about it.
I don't think you're going to target over the bottom lane. I think they're going to leave JackeyLove and Balan kind of out to dry. I think Tahm Kench will definitely be a prioritized pick. I don't think we'll see it banned, but it should be picked up in first rotation by Invictus Gaming if they're able to grab it. I think it's a less of a priority for KT because they have more flexibility with Mata. I think what they're going to try to focus on is either the jungle matchup or the top lane matchup, because that's usually been IG's strong point.
Last pick for the Shy?
Exactly, is securing that top lane so they can focus around the top side of their map.
Yeah, and do we expect some of these bruiser bot lanes to come out as well from KT or from IG? Do we think we're going to go straight up 80s? Because you were mentioning that that could be the case, but Deft is coming across with the Mordekaiser pick in his back pocket.
You're right.
We've got Swain's there as well.
It's in the back pocket, but it's not. It's kind of loosely there. Because if you think about when they played the Mordekaiser recently, it was against a team expected to play bruiser bot lanes in Griffin. They counted the melee-only strategy. Given the LPL really hasn't been playing a lot of bruisers, I don't even expect Swain priority to be particularly high. I don't think it'll come out here, but it's always a joker card for the side of KT.
And how would IG cope with it?
I mean, the only thing that Invictus Gaming do have in their back pocket is the Yasuo pick. So they are one of the few teams at this tournament that have experimented with the bruisers, but not nearly as much as the LCK have. And it's really just in that Yasuo that JackeyLove is able to play well.
Well, I guess we need to look to the mid lane just a little bit as well. Yukal having a pretty good tournament here, but not having his greatest season in the LCK. Is this a bit of redemption for Yukal as well, Puffer, against Rookie? Some incredible opposition as we hop into Champions Select.
Redemption is certainly a big word for many players. Yukal having a great tournament so far. Lucian ban comes out, so it seems like banning away just that ultra comfort from JackeyLove is the first shot fired by KT.
And then likewise the Taliyah and the Nocturne. So as I said, I felt like it was going to be trying to target outscore, set Ning up for success, because again, the difference between LCK and LPL in terms of how their junglers function is that the LCK is more often to play around their jungler, creating tempo and pace for him, whereas the LPL junglers will play around their laners.
Well, 90 to 100% ban rate for both of these junglers here in the Taliyah and the Nocturne, so understandable on the red side. And the Swain going to sneak in because the Zoe banned on blue by KT.
But the Mordekaiser was left open, so we could still get those bruiser bot lanes.
As is that Aatrox locked away. Yukal could play it, Smeb could play it. No idea, still going to have all the flexibility, and IG not going to be able to put it on the Shy once again.
Seems like IG are willing to play and roll the dice on that one. Swain first pick was assured. With its flex pick status, that's banned. Aatrox is taken. IG already showing a lot of Gragas priority. Speaking to a lot of teams scrimming on 8-13, feels like everyone is in agreement that of those smaller changes on paper, Gragas is the champion that's moved the furthest up the tier list with the changes to his W and his ability to trade more reliably. And this might actually be a contest on the Ezreal. So far, it's mind games, though. The reason why we saw the hover on the Alawi is, of course, a bit of mind games between the good friends of Smeb and the Shy.
Yeah, and is that going to be Smeb's Aatrox, or could we even have an Alawi and an Aatrox in the same game? But no, it's going to be the pick away of the Varus, the most successful. 15 KDA for Deft so far over 2 games, and the Gragas, of course, locked away as well. We'll see what KT round out this first round with.
And Invictus Gaming, because there's so many bruisers left open for Deft to grab into that bot lane, I like the fact that they're not prioritizing the Tahm Kench so heavily, and instead are going for Varus to try to deny taking a bruiser into that bot lane because he lanes so well into it. They want standard, traditional lanes.
Speaking of standard, there's actually a bit of an oversight here by KT. In a lot of teams on this side, you think of Gen G, it's just a straight up Ezreal Tahm Kench. You see Varus, Tahm Kench, pretty happy pick into that. The Ezreal safety. Instead, they go for the Sejuani power pick, considered one of the strongest junglers on patch 8.12, 8.13 in Korea, and the Shen, which will be a support pick. So we're going to see a different type of marksman here, or maybe not even a marksman. from Deft. Marksman has been where he's performed the best, is what we'd like to see. We'll wait and check in later.
It makes me feel like that Aatrox has kind of revealed their hand, though, that they might be going for the mid lane Aatrox, just because Sejuani has such great river priority and skirmish control there, and Aatrox is so potent and powerful in so many mid lane matchups.
So you're saying there's a chance that Smeb sees the Shy and blind picks Rumble.
That's what Pup has been dreaming of this whole tournament. Is Morgana going to be the final lock-in here for IG? They do not want to see the Maud, and KT, they want an exciting matchup on the top side.
You called it there.
IG sees no Ezreal, Tom Kenshin, like, uh-oh, what's going on in this bot lane? Ban away the Mordecai, so not bad, not bad.
See what they round out their bans with. Now, taking a little bit of time to think, and the Ashe going to be taken away from Deft as well. The Ezreal standing out like the sorest thumb that we've ever seen, but so many other options as well. Swain banned though, I mean, it will be an 80 carry most likely from Deft.
Just a bit of a smirk there from Deft. I mean, the only other option he would have is Vladimir. We saw how the Vladimir-Varus matchup went yesterday, so there's no way he's going to opt into it.
And his Vladimir, his mage play hasn't been great, so
No.
I don't think he's going to be prioritizing that by any means. Window banned, again saying, hey, it's going to be Aatrox top lane.
All right, bit of flexibility now with the Rise being picked up from most likely Rookie. He played it in his first game out for IG, and Deft now considering what KT want to do to round out this composition.
Oh, no.
Vel'Koz
Here we go.
just insta-locked by Yukao, maybe, unless it's going to be something weird. Mata flashing the Annie. He knows that this Chinese crowd knows the Annie, but the Jace to be locked in. That is most likely going to be on the top side of the map, so where the heck is everything going?
It's a good question here, Atlas.
Is this going to be Deft's Jace?
It could be Deft's Jace.
Oh man, are we doing this again? Is he taking teleport?
Please,
What's
no.
happening?
The only thing I can tell you concrete is that Vel'Koz in Korea is considered a counter to Morgana's support. So it could still be something involved in bot lane. A bot lane Deft played Vel'Koz would be very interesting. And IG kind of look at this, aren't completely sure what's going on, and they stick with the Aurelia.
Yeah, they're just going to pick up the Aurelia, round out this composition, and now I'm very interested to see where everything's going. Does make some
I think
sense.
Deft's playing Vel'Koz.
Yeah, I think that is the Deft on the Vel'Koz. I hope that he does that really, the really cool old dance on it as well.
I mean, the nice thing is that you can somewhat compete with the poke that Varus is laying down, as well as keep out of range from the Morgana and contest some of that shove while also having kill pressure because of the
So
Shen.
this is an evolution of what started as Talia Shen as a pushing duo bot lane, and Mage plus Shen
here we
is
go.
when you see it.
Hang on a
So
sec.
it seems very
They switched
likely
back.
that we're going to see it. Sorry, I know you got excited.
I
Once again,
know.
we need an excited counter. Someone has to put that and edit the VOD in and see how many times we say excited. Just in a single game. But Vel'Koz against Morgana. You pop the black shield so easily. You DPS down the Varus. Both of them walk up. You're able to hit the E. So this is very much trying to punish Varus Morgana in the 2v2.
But what I'm so interested about is if it's an isolated 2v2 like that, because if you look at this top side of the map for KT, the fact that you have the Jace, the fact that you have the Aatrox in the mid lane, we talked about how Aatrox and Sejuani, you have so much river control to immediately rotate into. I feel like KT want to put all of their resources and attention into that top side of their map and almost need to ignore the bottom side.
The thing that I think they're doing actually is ignoring that bottom side, which could be dangerous for KT. It's been an incredibly high-performing lane for them with a marksman down there. Like Papa said earlier on, I mean, putting him with a mage isn't necessarily the way you utilize Deft and his skills necessarily.
Not traditionally, but they still have something that marksman, no marksman comps usually lack, which the Vel'Koz is very strong in a siege with how much poke he has. Jace needs no introduction. They have other ways to play out the map, but they are skipping over some things to gain something. That's the reality of drafts, especially when flex picks are going to become such a big thing. So very excited to see how this one goes. I think we got the update. There's a bit of a headset issue and a bit of peripherals being swapped.
Going to be switching out a headset, so a couple of minutes before we can get onto the Rift. But it means we can discuss these interesting drafts, because it did mean on the side of IG that we flexed the Rise towards the top side of the map into the Jace. So maybe not one that the Jace can bully as much given the range that Rise has, but we haven't seen this matchup for quite some time.
And that's why actually when we saw the Rise picked, I thought you could actually lane that against the Aatrox and just use the ranged auto attack, use the ranged harass. QV, one of the big top lane Rise players. It's been nerfed, it's been changed, but it's still very viable if your job is control a top lane carry.
Yeah, it's about where Rise's power has really shifted. It used to be a lot in the ultimate, his ability to play a 1-3-1 or a side lane, because his ability to escape from everything and just be a pressure point down there. Now more so it's about his ability to have the consistent CC to win a lot more of these matchups, and much more about his lane priority, which sounds weird considering his itemization power spikes.
And I completely agree with you, because so many nerfs went into mid lane, wave clear, roam timings with the Realm Warp nerfs, that actually making him work in the mid lane's more difficult than it really the reward. The risk reward is off there. You don't get a big enough reward to get Rise to work in the mid lane, but he's still so good against melee champions that he has a role in the top side. And guess what? If you like ganking, instant cast CC is pretty sick.
And that's the thing, if you look at IG's composition, if we think that KT, it's going to be about the top side of the map, that they're probably going to leave their bot side on an island. They've got the Shen, so post level 6, Mata can start getting involved wherever he wants. Ning needs to make the most of that window. He has a Rise, he has the consistent CC, he has the Aurelia. Her level 6 and initial item power spike is one of the strongest in the game. So the first 8 minutes of this game, Ning needs to hit hard because the 1 and 2 item power spike of KT is devastating.
And viewers at home, the coolest thing to watch in the mid lane is when you have melee bruisers who can all in very strong, where the wave sits is so powerful. If it's just outside turret range on either the side of the Aatrox or the Aurelia, the all in, the 2-minute path of a jungler who says, I'm going to be mid lane, and about a minute and a half freeze it, and we'll be there for a gank timing, is always really fun to watch. There's all sorts of mind games, and it was FLICKR, in fact, in the telecom war, who really dunked UCAL with this mechanic on Yasuo and Aatrox mid lane, and then UCAL paid it forward in a future game. So I think there's been a lot of mid lane carry play in the LCK, and we're going to see more of it here.
Yeah, and I want to talk about what UCAL can do with this Aatrox as well. It is the rework. We saw him dominate with the old Aatrox in that mid lane, but now going up against Rookie's Aurelia as this brand new pick, can UCAL actually have the level of mechanics and proficiency on a brand new champion in the mid lane up against Rookie?
UCAL is a very talented mechanical player. I will say, I would say the same thing about BDD, and I actually thought he didn't pass the eye test yesterday. I thought his game on the Aatrox was noticeably worse than some of our other Aatrox players, so I don't have a full answer for you, Atlas. You would imagine he would be feeling confident enough to pull it off. I'm wondering how much the disarm comes into impact, just because Q is that spell cast and he moved away. Old Aatrox would have hated being disarmed. New Aatrox, a little bit less removed from that Aurelia ultimate.
I mean, the thing that's really interesting is just the newness of both of these champions. We haven't seen Rookie prioritize Aurelia a lot in the LPL, and I feel like the difference between your amazing Aurelia players and, you know, just using her because she is slightly broken at some points in the meta is just night and day. So does UCAL understand Aatrox? Does Rookie understand new Aatrox? Is Rookie a god tier Aurelia player? Is he just an average one? Because we see these two, you know, maybe ascending gods in the mid lane, or a prodigy like UCAL starting to work his way up the ladder versus the strongest laner in the LPL. But this matchup, if they don't understand these champions as well as some of their other peers, could just go completely sideways no matter how it should play out.
And it definitely was a decision from Rookie as well. He wanted to play the Aurelia into the Aatrox. And of course, it does make sense. You want to try and get in there and get out of there as well and just fight in the right windows against the Aatrox. That, in my mind, makes some sense. But I feel like if you're just going to brawl against a champion like new Aatrox, even if it is before the hotfix, you're still asking for trouble, especially with a ganking jungler like the Sejuani, even if you do have the Gragas behind you.
But that's focusing in only on the lane, which I think is what Invictus Gaming will do, where, again, KT, I think it's about river access. It's all about the Scuttle Crab, acquiring that gold, getting that EXP, slingshotting yourself ahead, and then using that as your safety net to ramp yourself through the river and start impacting those side lanes. And this is where I have issues with Invictus Gaming. Strategically, they are the lane kingdom team. If they don't win in the lane phase, they don't win the game. Their team fighting was saved on a miracle taunt from Rookie the other day against SKT. You don't get that too many times.
IG for the win, says the sign in the crowd. Still looking through the players, got another update that it's just the peripherals still be swapping out. We shouldn't blow all that good material, guys. We've got to save some of the good stuff. Some of the good stuff.
We've got some good matchups coming up. I think we've got a lot of material available.
I'm just saying, you and I have had plenty of pause practice. So sometimes
do we want to bring FLICKR into
Is this the LCK podcast?
Oh,
are we having another special episode of Papa's Mad Live?
It's Papa's Mad Live. Guest star Roster.
Wow.
I'm sorry, the buttress of the LPL.
Thank you.
Ooh, but you almost got in trouble there.
I have to kind of
drama
weave it
on
in.
the podcast already, Papa.
It's true. The tension between the co-hosts.
Well, that's always there. We can't really be talking about the peripherals, though, too much, even if that is the problem.
We got some sick sponsors for this tournament.
Hey, that's true.
Mercedes.
We can talk about Mercedes all we want. That's
wow, are you guys getting paid for this?
No, unfortunately,
not for the sponsor
but we're really good at advertising, so we really got to look into it.
We gave a lot of freebies. Raidcall really loves us.
Raidcall really loved it. Discord as well has really gotten a lot. But
Skype is not actually
Skype's fallen out. We stopped with that one. We don't want to advocate for a product that we don't use anymore, really.
We just advocate for our regions. Korea, China, so many world championships here. In fact, basically all of them.
There's this psychological thing where if you don't talk, the other person feels the need to fill the air, and they just stuff starts coming out of their face.
Really? I feel that 6 days a week, baby.
And I feel like I'm just experiencing this. I just make eye contact. I'm like, where are they going to go? They're going to go to Skype? Okay, okay, we're going to Skype.
We don't prepare any
Please don't dissect it, okay? It's like you need to keep the magic alive. This is what happens.
Are you the host of the podcast?
I don't know.
Do you think FLICKR is the sort of person that opens the sandwich and has to inspect every ingredient before she eats it?
One of the people that like flaps open the bread and has a look inside. No, you just got to
I want to have a peek inside game 1.
Yeah,
Atlas.
speaking about the sandwich, KT versus IG. Deft on the mage, the Vel'Koz on the bottom side. There'll be plenty of purple happening, and here we are finally onto the Rift. Game 1 for Asia Rift Rivals Grand Final. KT versus IG. Oh, finally, guys. We're here. We made it. Marta and Baolan facing off, as well as the two junglers.
And just to recap again, if you look at KT's composition, they've got the Vel'Koz and the Shin. That's probably going to be the immediate thing that sparks to viewers. Papa Smithy already talking about how it is an answer towards that Morgana, able to break the Black Shield. So we expect this 2v2 to be isolated, and it should be about the top side of the map.
That is some good dancing mechanics from
Deft. Deft knows how to play Vel'Koz.
He is our best only macro, the Ghost with Mordekaiser.
That's
Don't move the
true.
Mordekaiser players. So makes sense. And Deft has, in fact, shown us some innovation. Will his cleanse bot lane Vel'Koz be better than his international favorite, the TP Jace?
I hope so, Papa Smithy, but to be honest, that is not a huge ask, because that teleport Jace from years past was awful.
Controversial opinion, wasn't his fault.
I mean, he did teleport in the middle of a
That teleport was definitely his fault, but losing the game wasn't his fault.
Well, I mean, it was a team effort. When it comes to teams that Deft has been on in the past, losing the game has certainly been something that everyone did, but Rookie taking a poor trade against UCAL, but having the Darkened Blade as your level 1 skill feels pretty damn good as an Aatrox.
UCAL hasn't gone for the Smite. We did see Smite come out from Maple yesterday. Didn't really feel like he got a maximum impact out of it, so kill pressure makes more sense to electrocute this time, so not comment on the Aatrox like previous Aatrox players.
And I will say this just because we're peeking at the bottom lane right now. JackeyLove and Baolan do not have the greatest track record against support Shins. JackeyLove has this tendency to check with his face. He really likes to be in melee range.
Oh, glad he's up against Deft.
Exactly, at all possible moments. So just keep your eyes on Mata, because JackeyLove has fallen for this trick very, very recently in the LPL, where he insta-died level 2.
And the CC duration from the Shen taunt as early as level 2 means any of these burst allies, Talia is the one we see the most often, but we're seeing the Vel'Koz here, you just guarantee something like a seismic shove, or in this case the unraveled earth. The amount of burst you put out on any of these mage Shen lanes have been very impressive, and then down comes the W from the Shen, and suddenly you're taking a 400, 500 damage trade that only goes one way. So it's been very, very powerful. This is obviously a different look at it. Speaking of different looks.
Yeah, Shy's going to have a look at score here as he turns up, and Powered Shock Blast not going to land, but Shy on the wrong side. Arctic Assault doesn't actually land the CC, and he's got some good movements to get out of here, but is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Permafrost slowed him down, the flash from score, and he's going to be able to grab first blood for the LCK.
Happy birthday, Score, baby. Picks up the first blood, 26 years young. He may be an old man, but he got the flash off.
Hey, he's younger than us, Papa Smith.
That's true.
And I also love the ingenious maneuver that it was Score that burned the flash. So retaining that flash on Jace, obviously not giving the kill over to him, but this is a very easy repeat gank now.
And I love that you mentioned that, because when
Speaking
I saw
of
the
which,
Shy walking down, yes, okay. This is definitely a preview, but the Shy was trying to bait a double flash over the wall, couldn't get it, only got one. Here is the one, as the Piggy loves himself some top lane.
Yep. The worst possible feeling as a top laner ever is this level of camp, but good of the Shy to avoid it, as there's the reset. UCAL now trying to fight back against Rookie. Good use of the W to avoid a bunch of that damage, but the trade's still pretty even.
And as you were saying, a homecoming story for Rookie, obviously formerly of the KT Arrows 2014, him and Cacao, that beautiful Nocturne Orianna ultimate that went down in history, and now he looks across from KT so many years later.
And of course, Score was not on that lineup, which is why he is still looking for that trophy 6.5 years as a pro player. That was Arrow in the bot lane.
Yeah, very sad.
Flash?
Now it's going to be the Gragas' turn to try and find that flash, but he made his way in very, very late and doesn't even land the barrel.
Ning tried to get a free flash out of the Jace by just body slamming and threatening that he would flash halfway through. The cask doesn't work like that anymore, but of course the body slam does. That's the mind game you have to play around. But because Smeb was already so close to the wall, that he felt very, very confident.
And we talked about how it was going to be all about the top side. So far, we've had 3 ganks up into top side, and frankly, KT have just played it so much better. Again, retaining the flash on Smeb, so he still has a lot of that kill threat, constantly forcing the Shy to make facts that he doesn't want to. He's in between items, forced to go back and not get the tier, but the Sapphire Crystal and the boots.
But because of the 10, Varus has been able to push up. Vel'Koz under turret doesn't have 3 levels in his W yet, so he's not going to be able to just clear the waves and push away. And he doesn't have his jungler, and the enemy knows that his jungler isn't there. So that means he's trying to last hit under turret. It's been an awkward spot. It's no lost chapter buy, so it seems like he's actually going to be forced into Archangels, whatever he would have wanted originally, just for a decent first purchase.
Yeah, got that tier coming in for Deft as he moves back up the lane. JackeyLove will see what he can actually afford here with this huge CS lead that he has picked up for himself. And now, is it the opportunity for JackeyLove to really prove himself on a stage this big? Does have the Vamp Scepter, so going the way of the Blade of the Ruined King for item number 1.
And I kind of follow your logic, Atlas, and okay, set up the Varus to succeed. And if you're KT, you say, if there's one person who's going to have a lot of gold and we're not going to be as concerned, it's JackeyLove, because previously he's misfired.
Well, speaking of firing, Ning looking for the gank once again. Score, he's spending some time on the bottom side of the map at the wave. Good position here for KT.
And just such a good map read from Smeb. Obviously, you can see with his positioning, the way that he's postured in the lane. He knows that something's up, but here we go.
You can't know for sure, though. You have to take calculated risks.
Yeah, Shy's going to move over. Lots of damage onto the rise, though, is Smeb. He's going low. Ning now body blocking the flash. Does come out. One more Q will do it, but it's not enough, and Smeb just walks away.
And just so ridiculously well played from Smeb right there. Again, absorbing so much pressure. He finally burns the flash, so we'll see if Ning's able to capitalize it on again. But the wave.
And the big thing there for Smeb was holding on to his hammer hit. When do you use it? Do you try to use it on all-in? No. He holds on to it to disengage the Gragas, knows it's not enough follow damage, and no flash on the Shy. Difficult thing to play. Usyk can't do it now. We see Smeb do it. We got 3 of the best Jace players here today, and that was a treat.
Yeah, it's going to be Smeb that's locking down the Jace this time. We'll see whether the Shy has an opportunity if we make it to a game 5 and they put IG in, but the last time potentially here, IG will play. JackeyLove looking for some Qs, but Deft has a bit of ability to lock down this lane as good Black Shield denies a lot of that engage.
Good
wow, Spirit's Refuge really working here for KT to avoid a lot of that damage.
And this is what we didn't want, an isolated bot lane, but Ning, round 2,
yeah,
doesn't even have the Shy.
Exactly, the Shy isn't here, does have the Realm Walk available, but the explosive cast comes out, that's one more auto, and Ning just gonna flash for it, 1-to-1. Top laners, both being the ones to suffer.
And Smeb would never expect that gank timing, but it's perfect coming through from IG's jungler. Plays the lane smart, it's only him, there's no way to assist him, but gets the kill, hits all the skills. They do draw out a flash, that'll be the small sliver there for KT Rolster, and Smeb doesn't have a good back to his bot lane.
Big flash in here as Deft has the disintegration ray. They just get rid of the Morgana, and JackeyLove wants Marta, flashes forward, the stopwatch for the bait, and JackeyLove's now in trouble. Marta eventually gets taken down, and Deft can't find the Qs, the geometry a little bit off, and it's 1-to-1 on the bottom side.
The 1-for-1 trade, and JackeyLove finally learns a little bit of his lesson, steps forward, but Baolan and JackeyLove again caught off guard from the Shin. This time around though, no flash, no ignite, so less of a threat of just a straight 2v2 kill, but Mata will have access to the Stand United soon, so this top side of the map again could become much more volatile in the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Definitely feels that the pendulum has swung pretty heavily top side. In the bot lane though, counterpoint, Deft used nothing apart from his ultimate in that play. He has flash and cleanse available, whereas JackeyLove's cleanse is the only summoner remaining for Invictus game.
And I feel like what we're going to see is just the map start to tilt. Like you're saying, top side now
Speaking
completely
of the word tilt,
belongs
yeah.
to KT.
There is
but Ning's in a really good spot here.
Potential.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
Ning's
have
going to turn
cast.
up. Good flash, get out of the ultimate. As now Ning's in trouble. Yukao comes in, dancing around underneath this turret. They're looking for 2 as the Shen turned up with the Stand United. Mata sacrifices himself, but they'll get a turret, and they got 2 kills.
And a huge difference there is Ning didn't have access to the ultimate, so was really unable to help reset that potential. Again, there was the Stand United. KT have complete control. Invictus Gaming need to make the response. It's all about the bottom side of the map.
And even if you imagine the flash being available on Gragas, a couple of extra turret shots to get the kill, the frustration, potentially more kills. Rookie looking to bounce over, but Deft can read the map and understand that walking out to this turret's probably a bad idea.
And the real unfortunate thing is that while IG have control over bot side, it's just a Cloud Dragon. It's not something like a Mountain or an Infernal, comparatively to top tower as well as the Rift Herald. And again, that snowball power spike from a Jace. 1 item, 2 items. I feel like KT, they're just starting to ramp, and they're ramping in exactly the right areas.
And Jace will be facing an opponent that really won't buy items to answer him. The items we see from Rise, you can go a bit more situational. We do see maybe tier into avoiding the Rod of Ages, picking up something like a Merlinomicon, or in this game, a Zonia's, and then finishing the Seraphs very quickly. But he has a second mana crystal already. We'll see if that's armor as another gank potentially on the way.
Yeah, Ning sneaking into that brush as well as Yukal. This wave not in a great spot, but oh wow, Umbral Dash was actually useful.
It was long enough.
That was fantastic. It's never long enough. As Ning is going to eventually find this control ward. The Shy hanging around here as well just to make sure they can secure this topside vision that seemed so important this game.
Still going for Blade of the Ruined King. Lifesteal just to deal with some of the trades that come through. No Rage Blade first in a lane like this. Like Deft was brave enough to go a couple of days ago.
And I feel like the play from IG is quite obvious here. You just want to make the back from Rookie. He'll probably walk back to mid lane, possibly just down to the bot lane, reset that wave, and then you just start rotating and throwing everything in the kitchen sink down here because they expect that these towers are going to fall within the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Now Deft on a bit of an island here. You were talking about. Mata doesn't have the Stand United available, so this Vel'Koz has to be very careful.
He's got immense range, so he does the Ezreal thing of poking waves from far away.
Hold up. Change up in the plan. IG are going to try to red zone defense this top tower. That could spell disaster.
Well, score is up here as well. As the Shy very, very defensively positioned. Smev's going to get all of this experience.
Come on, boys. You're playing against a Shen.
It's real scary. Doesn't have the Stand United available just yet, though. Lucidity Boots there is going to help Mata out, but there's still a few seconds.
If I don't move, it doesn't see me, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a T-Rex. He's
still
a T-Rex. That was the team they were playing against yesterday, not
He's showing on purpose there for the reason of pressure. He saw the ward go in. Score galloping around. Come on, Score. What we doing?
Well, Ning waiting in the wings, but it is going to be a 2v2 as we've got Aatrox with the inside track from the mid lane.
All eyes on Stand United. It's just about to come up, and here is Yukal. This is about
actually
to be
getting through a
4-man.
wall as well. This is fantastic. Got to keep your eyes on which ones you can actually go through, as now they're considering the dive, and Stand United, like you say, just off cooldown now.
But look at Mata. He doesn't even want to use his ultimate. He's literally just running up the river, standing in mid lane brush.
Of course, then he can use his ult bottom lane.
Exactly. Get back to Deft when Deft obviously overextends. It's perfect. He knows exactly how KT works.
Well, he's coming in the mid lane, pushing up. Still a very tense moment. Still the game very even. I would say execution ease in team fights is higher for IG than it is for KT, because Gragas versus Vel'Koz, you get bounced in, you die instantly, as the purple carry that Deft is playing.
Yeah, that was one of the huge issues with Vel'Koz when he was first really released and powerful, is that he couldn't play in the meta because Gragas was such a high priority. The longest range displacement in the game, just boop, you're done.
Yep.
Speaking of being done,
Pesci might be in trouble here as, yeah, he very much is. All of the buttons land, and KT an easy kill against the Rise.
And you
He's
should
getting
probably,
picked on.
as a top laner, consider how Smev played with incomplete information compared to the Shy. Shy there just a little bit too eager to walk up. If you notice the ward line, there is no aggressive ward line for IG. They had no idea where Score could be. And last they saw him, he was topside.
And it's not just the Shy that played that incorrectly, it's also Invictus Gaming having a bad read on the map. Like, look at where Ning's positioning was, walking towards his top side of the jungle, there's nothing there. So maybe you argue he's trying to be there to buy time for the Shy from the top side, but again, IG, why not just put your resources into the bottom lane and try to trade even here?
That's why there's been so many disagreements about who's favored in this matchup. If you look at Reddit and other forums, there is always the question of who's the bigger lane kingdom team? Is it KT? Is it IG? KT also are win early game, sometimes win the game, lose early game, struggle. KT have been known for the same early game strengths, but they've been better recently. They've certainly picked it up in the last 3 or 4 series. And so far this game, they have been one step ahead of IG.
And I know you and I were having some conversations. Is FLICKR the best team from the LCK? Is it KT right now in terms of just performance-based at this tournament? And I sit very firmly on KT. I don't think that they've had the same drafting strengths as FLICKR, but just pound for pound talent-wise, I think they're a great matchup across from a lot of LPL teams who rely on that raw skill.
And you know, I'd love to join you, but the only way is a very cop-out answer is KT after pick ban, I would agree, is Here we go.
Okay, Stand United is going to come in from very close range onto Deft, and that's going to get Mata in there. Deft still above half health. His teleport from Smeb will make this a problem. In goes KT. Rolster's rookie may have turned up at the right time, but Disintegration Ray does exactly that. Stopwatch will spell the death of Baolan, given over to Deft, and now look at UCal. The knockup comes in from Deft as well. It's a double, and the Aatrox was popping off.
Shen has been monster pick this tournament, and Mata has been the unsung hero. His Tom Kench play, this time his engage play. The taunt flash catches them unawares, unaware of the Varus as well. No ability to get onto the Vel'Koz. He free ults, and then there is the Aatrox. It's a cleanup for KT.
And the only response that Invictus Gaming managed to squeeze out is 3 waves on the Shine, the top side, and it's a rise. He's not going to get a lot of damage on this tower. There's virtually nothing that Invictus Gaming will get back, and they are falling so far behind right as KT are about to hit their power spike, sitting in a very comfortable pocket.
It's so strange, but Shen's initiation is what they desperately need. He uses the ult just to stop Deft being burst. That part we understand. But because he engages, there's effectively a zone here where Deft can ult and there will be no further threat on him in the fight. This is Vel'Koz walking in, getting massive damage. Aatrox gets the backline, no threat on anyone, and all because Mata does everything he needs to do.
Yeah, Rookie was basically soloed out by UCal, pressed all of his buttons on him, but in the chaos, that is exactly how it's going to work out. Now UCal back down towards the bottom side. She's going to be farming things out. He's got a BF sword and full Merc treads after that first buy. Damn, this Aatrox is starting to get huge.
And now the hunt is on for KT. You can see the immediate confidence. They're walking forward into Invictus Gaming's jungle. IG just have to play defense here, sweep out all the wards behind them, but they're playing with fire. Again, KT, they're starting to come online exactly where their champions want to be. Papa Smithy talked about that. Yes, they don't have an ADC, but with Vel'Koz and Jace, they still have all of the poke and the long range that they need to siege up towers.
What I want to see from IG is some better vision control. This whole game, the map has basically been dark. And that's not when they're ahead and have implied vision. They've been behind or at best even. So just setting up for vision here and poking around, it seems almost formulaic that KT will take their 3rd turret in the middle.
And that's constantly been a problem for Invictus Gaming as of late. You have to go and point at Ning and Baolan. Obviously the jungler and support, their responsibility is primarily the vision. And with Baolan on a pick like Morgana, he's just been slave to Jackie Love because of the matchup and hasn't gotten to make the same roam pressure that Mata has. If you go back and watch the early tape, Mata is up and down this river, completely controlling and isolating this 2v2 with a wealth of wards.
And that's why, I guess my only criticism of Ning, who I originally was very impressed on, some of his mechanical plays when he debuted was so strong. He can be very strong there. Is the term win more is kind of harsh, but if his lane is winning, I think he always contributes so much, but if his lane is losing, he really starts to move away. So I think if you take the temperature of how the lane is going, you know how Ning is going to play in the game, and that's, with a team like IG, usually a good thing, but in the games where you need someone to clutch from behind, Score, for example, has been able to just win games off his own back, I haven't seen that from Ning.
And the reality is that Invictus Gaming fans should look at someone like KT and say, once we will reach this. Like, this is a once upon a time, hopefully we can get to this level, because KT just seemed like the more experienced IG. Lane Kingdom, superstar talent, so impressive, but they have the experience and the macro read over the map that put them a cut above.
I'm going to call you back in a couple of weeks. We'll have this chat again off air and we'll see if you agree.
They're just as disappointing from 40-11 to 4th place in the LPL. This was supposed to be our MSI
I was
champion.
Say, it seems KT like they're a brilliant KT. This is exactly what you want from the real KT. In fact, KT not doing it very well this game because they're playing extraordinarily well.
Chinese knockoffs.
Oh, no copyright issues here, though. We're totally fine. Score gonna lock down the Rift Herald very easily. Shelly just bounds over to KT, hops into his back pocket. Dark Binding gonna go just wide from Baolan. As that's just Disintegration Rate thrown out from Deft. No cast going to be invested to try and cancel that one out as Rookie takes the tower on the bottom side of the map for the first of IG. Mata has to dash his way out after the ult comes in from Ning.
I mean, that was an interruption on the Rift Herald.
Oh.
Yes, it was a little bit off there in terms of the camera, but they interrupted the Rift Herald charge.
I thought it was Score that picked it up, so good pickup, Papa. Thank you.
Papa bless.
Good cooldown trade.
Yeah.
Once-off cooldown for your ultimate.
Yeah, I'd probably take that.
Retains the mid lane tower, which is exactly what Invictus Gaming need to pivot and hold. This has to be the ground because it means that they can stall out the game longer to try to bypass this big window where KT are stronger on their composition and hopefully get more items onto the Rise, onto the Varus, and into the back pocket of Aurelia.
And it was just really lazy, honestly, of the Rift Herald charge. It wasn't in exact vision, it was in implied vision, but because they had the lane ward, look at it.
It was underscore, but he was out of the way. And they got Mata under the turret for free.
It was lazy in a couple of ways. Too far up the lane, but also the turret was almost dead anyway, so you'd rather use it for a higher value charge. Yeah. I guess they wanted to get a second charge on the inner turret, but they buy a minute and a half and a lot of turret health just from pretty lazy execution by KT. The only real mistake KT have made in the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, well, it is ticking over to that 20-minute mark, and as we check in, it's about 5,000 gold the lead for KT Rolster. We got a Gargoyle Stoneplate rushed from score in the jungle. The Guardian Angel just completed here for UCal as Smeb heading towards that 30% CDR with the Black Cleaver about to be completed.
And sometimes items tell you a story. We don't even need to interview the coach to understand what they want to do. It's win now. It's dive turrets. It's push open the base, get an inhibitor and a Baron. 20 to 28 minutes with a comp like this. We know about Jace comps. From ahead, this comp is so strong. There's snowball items as well because they're up 4,000 gold. KT understand it's all about the execution now. Don't let Invictus Gaming get 3 to 4 items on their carries.
Yeah, don't give Rookie the opportunity to out-team fight them around a Baron pit like SKT fell into.
And the mentality from the LPL in terms of a read on this meta is that while you have less team fights, the few that you have are far more important just because of the snowball aspect of the game. You essentially used to have, 4 to 5, possibly 6 big team fights that would decide something. Now it's decided possibly in 1, maybe 2 if you're close in gold. So like Papa's saying, you see those defensive items come out and KT know, we just have to win this next team fight, transfer into a Baron, and everything closes.
It's always been the secret of League of Legends. Buy defense when you're ahead. And speaking of being ahead...
Yeah, JackeyLove, that Black Shield was amazing from Battleland. Saves JackeyLove's life. The Disintegration Ray is flying forward, takes so much damage. Now will be zoned out of the way of the turret, but KT don't get as much as they want.
JackeyLove will take a long time to get back to the structure. Remember, no charge from the Rift Herald because it was cancelled. But taking the structure is going to take a while.
Yeah, Finding comes down yet again, but Deft is now starting to really do damage. Seraphs has come in for the Vel'Koz.
Now there's a
bit of a battle talk.
There's an opportunity though that as JackeyLove comes back in, although maybe Ning just tossed it away, that Invictus Gaming were looking to reverse the tempo and try to engage on KT. But again, the experience of this legendary roster, they immediately back up.
And KT now have a big objective. It's not a turret, it's get rid of all the summoners on JackeyLove, just like the reverse is true for
the team
IG.
Fight.
When it comes to JackeyLove or Deft, they do so much damage when they have their summoners. They do very little when they do not. Now Baron plays, teamfight plays, even structure sieging is so much more reliable from KT when those first round of cooldowns come up again.
Yeah, and you can see that represented with how Deft just played. Took a free turret shot just because he knew he has the ability and the flexibility to throw out all of his skills against JackeyLove. Bit of a fight here topside as Ning. It's going to make his way in. UCal does have GA. World Ender is available there as well as, Rookie still has the ultimate.
And I understand that UCal's being a nuisance up in the top lane, but I kind of want to put all eyes on Mata. Mata now has his flash as well as his taunt available. He knows that JackeyLove doesn't have his cleanse or his flash, and I feel like this is going to be the big go button. Mata is going to be hunting, and if he finds the Varus, Invictus Gaming will fall apart.
I think KT need one control ward on the Baron. You keep playing this, and eventually you start timing out how long wards would be. Even if you didn't know they were there, well, they haven't been away anywhere near the pit for 3 minutes. Yeah. You can play a lot of implied games around durations as second Gragas ultimate just to try to buy some time to farm. Honestly, they're Gragas ulting to get Varus a minion wave, to get a bit of farm onto other members, and to finish items before an inevitable pivotal fight.
Well, they're going to dive this one. Battleland explodes as Deft throws down another ultimate. It's a good engage from Score, and they get out from underneath that turret. Can they get more on the side of KT? Looks like the answer's no.
And you were talking about control wards, but it wasn't on the Baron, it was in the Wolf Pit. But this is, again, it goes back to Invictus Gaming not having the proper vision. They move in between their lanes, they think that they're safe, but they're caught out blind from around the corner.
Now, of course, we can't criticize them for their vision right now. It's the fact that they've had so little for so long. Right now, because they're so far behind, if they walked in to get vision, they could get picked. So that's why the vision snowball has never changed IG's way. But it's a symptom of a bigger problem for IG that we get to 22, 23 minutes, and plays like that are so straightforward for KT.
And frankly, Invictus Gaming don't have a lot of experience in this type of scenario. They were practically undefeated through their regular split back in spring. They smashed through everyone. It was only in the semifinals and then the 3rd versus 4th place match that they ever played from the back foot. They're one of the fastest teams in the LPL.
It's why I sat there talking to you about how IG would do, and when it came to that RNG series, before I heard about the Duke coming in, the Shy going out, I said, I still haven't seen how IG play from behind. Win lane, win game, doesn't win a best of 5 against the very best teams in the world. And while RNG rose to be that, I was still unconvinced about where IG would go. Then we had a series that, okay, other things happen, but the inevitabilities of IG's success for so many people are counterpointed, I think, in games like this, where you see there's certainly a lot of teams around the world in a best of 5, and IG 3-0 sounds unlikely.
I mean, the most obvious answer is if you go back to MSI and say, Royal never gave up, were able to play from behind in X number of games. Royal never gave up, were able to rely on their AD carry, pulling out in the clutch to find those miracle team fights. Those are two of the biggest weaknesses for Invictus Gaming. The fact that Jackie Love cracked under pressure and they have never been able to play from behind.
Now, weakness of KT is closing games when they've been ahead and haven't advanced their position in a while. We still have to inspect that for KT, seeing Score walk up.
Yep, Binding's going to go wide, and Baolan has to use the Black Shield on himself. If this is a team fight, that's going to be on cooldown. There's Score pretty tanky at the moment, just point-blank ultimate right onto the Gragas as we're going to get the pullback onto that guy, but the jump into the backline from Rookie. It's a good stopwatch from Score, but maybe he's in the wrong place. A great point for the ultimate from Def, but it's just disengage, and KT will leave the fight.
Of course, and with incomplete information and with the base check there, they didn't get much value out of Score, and they actually are well held. This is a big defense for IG, as it has to be basically a full reset for KT.
And you can see that KT may be getting a little bit desperate.
Definitely.
They understand that the siege wasn't working for them. They're starting to move towards the
Speak louder,
barricade.
Frusker, and the fans are getting excited.
And Dalian understands that Invictus Gaming were able to hold, but for how much longer? They need to get another 2 to 3 fights like that before they can feel confident stepping to.
Well, this could be the 1v1 on the top side. No, Rookie under the turret.
And that's where your meta point comes in. At this point in the game, a team fight usually ends it. It doesn't mean 2 or 3. It's why Jace comps are back to a bit of a degree, because you don't have to stick 2 to 3 team comps if you don't just smash lane and win super early. You can just stick 1. So KT up and down so far. They haven't really had any Baron starts. Now, they don't have a lot of tankiness. Score has to disengage off the map, and if Score's away for 30 seconds, you're pretty sure they're on Baron.
And the issue that KT have, if they want to try to secure the Baron or sneak it, is that they have a lot of burst potential, but if Score's CC doesn't hit, they don't have a lot of pick potential in a sense. They are great at sieging structures, at this long-range poke, at playing the elongated team fight. But if Invictus Gaming have someone like Ning, someone like the Shy, who feel confident enough that they can step forward and try to suss out what's happening behind KT's vision, KT's comp doesn't have a lot of options to punish them as effectively.
And if we rewind the last 6-7 minutes of Gragas ultimates onto minions, Varus almost dying but getting back to mid, that mid lane in a turret never went down. Items that didn't exist are now decent 2-item power spikes. They're behind Caulfield's Warhammers and little other items, but they do start to have their core. Well, seeing another attempt to dive, but great counter roam by Baolan.
Yeah, there's going to be the Black Shield there for the Shy, so he's going to be absolutely fine. Okay, Score, you're not necessarily looking like you are as the stun comes down onto Smeb. In goes Marta once again, but Def right off to the side. It's good positioning with Yukal backing him up, but the ultimate comes out from Rookie. Still looking for more flashes after Marta. Gets the stun, gets the reset, and takes down the Shen. Meanwhile, in the backline, KT looking for more. The World Ender here from Yukal will be able to keep him alive when he does finally fall, but does he have anywhere to go? And the answer is yes, over the wall with the flash and the little dash. But now the Shy brings himself in. 1 versus 4 though, as the GA finally popped, and Smeb is starting to pop up in the fight. Rookie still looking for more. Can he be the hero? Can he find another one? They're looking for it as Jackie Love barely living in this fight, and he will get taken down. Rookie just wants reset after reset. He'll get 1, he'll get 2. Can he get the 3rd? And Invictus Gaming, they're gonna do it. They find the miracle fight once again.
And the KT arrows live on in Rookie there, but it's under Invictus Gaming's jersey. He saves the day, burns the GA, and that's the team fight IG needed to step back in the game.
And it's the sort of team fight that Rookie was waiting for. He knew items needed to come in, the time needed to be right, but that is what you pick Aurelia for. Reset on dash, getting in there for consistent damage. KT can't keep the space you want with a Jace and a Vel'Koz comp, and IG finally get their true foothold in the game.
It's not going to mean Baron, though, this time around. It's not the kind of snowballed fight around a Baron pit that could just end the game, and it's still a gold lead for KT. Let's see this fight one more time.
This is so much all Rookie. Just look at how far deep he goes while the rest of his team are separated from him, but he keeps pushing forward. Rookie is the captain, Rookie is the shot caller, Rookie is forcing Invictus Gaming back into this.
But KT have so many chances to fully disengage. They think, all right, what about Shen coming back in? But that's so far down the line. They could have given up 2 for 0, but they keep getting baited into re-engaging, and that's just the KT way. They know they're ahead, so they say, we have to salvage this, we're ahead, we're the comp that needs to win now. But you have better opportunities than this. Look at the vision here. They actually don't have vision, a lot of brush. They get juked out of damage multiple times. This is the sort of fight for KT. Someone needs to put their hand up and say, there has to be a better time.
Yeah, they have to have a huge shout out to Baolan as well. Always on it with the Black Shields at exactly the right times, on top of Rookie, on top of JackeyLove, making sure that they survive. You can see the team fight damage is there from the Vel'Koz, but good God, the Aurelia really took that one into his own hands, did Rookie.
Well, about the next moment here, it's a much smaller gold lead, 7,000 now, all the way down to about 3.5. KT Rolster, there are still team fights they can win, but so far they've tried to play it away from Baron exclusively, and then they need to add new variables to increase the pace of the game, because it's definitely stalled out to IG's benefit.
I mean, the silver lining for KT fans here is the fact that the GA is no longer live on Aurelia. It was a huge pivot around Invictus Gaming finding success at teamfight, and JackeyLove doesn't have access to his flash.
Well, we're looking to trade the Baron for the Dragon here, and KT very greedily want to take down this Dragon as well. They've started off the Baron.
They're going to have to turn off of this.
Yeah, Rookie has position, and KT moving together as a unit. Stand United still available. The flank from Rookie is in here as well. As there's the stun. Rookie just locks them down. Immediate stopwatch just to try and keep him alive. But the knock-up from Deft was too good. And it's going to be UCal that kills the Aurelia now. The Shy is going to go down. It's all gone wrong. IG don't have that teamfight king. And this could mean Baron. If Baolan doesn't just die as well, IG we're looking for more. They take down the Aatrox. UCal, a bit of poor positioning there as Mata just trying to zone. Deft is going to be moving up as well, but Ning, he is certainly going to fall. Score. Triumph gives him a bump through his health back, and IG can't do any more than that.
Really exciting fight. We saw the Rookie flank because he bought a stopwatch and still had the ability to go into stasis. Not quite a GA, but a team fight reset. KT checked the right brush, Deft was able to disengage, and they're going to try Baron.
Yep, here comes the teleport. Smev is refreshed, and there is no contest for Invictus Gaming.
No smite available anyway. They do manage to take down Ning and assure that, but crazier things have happened, especially to KT Rolster. This Black Shield on cooldown is definitely dangerous. Some low health bars, and JackeyLove's got a lot of damage, but he's not going to go for it. So Baron going to go over to KT, who've had control the whole game. Fumbled it for one moment, but that is the KT way.
And you thought it was going to be a drop, but instead it was the barrel roll from KT. All eyes really on Deft and Mata here. So Rookie gets underneath, just as he was saying, forces Deft to flash backwards, but the perfect CC chain to then immediately blast Rookie.
And problem for IG is that JackeyLove has his items, but count auto attacks in this fight. We're not going to see the entire clip. I spied maybe 3 for the entire fight. He never even got his Ginsu's Rage Blade passive up because of how the fight was constructed.
Yeah, and exactly. Credit to Mata. I wish we could watch the back half of that, because JackeyLove saw his opportunity where he wanted to step forward and try to lay down more autos, but Mata was right on the wings of the fight, just saying, if you step forward, I will find the CC on you.
Yeah. Threatening with that taunt, always in the right position. Mata, definitely an unsung hero on KT, and actually pretty sung as well from a lot of people.
Ah yes, the unsung MVP of Worlds.
Yeah, I was going to say. I feel a little bit sheepish.
Who's Mata?
Well, I'm pretty sure I should know. I followed him back to Korea.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a stalking story.
Followed him home on Thursday night. Well, IG looking to try and clean up the minion waves. Got a wave pushing on the top side of the map, but that's not going to arrive for KT. Is now UCal with the split push, looking for this inner turret, but IG are here.
We've seen this before. This time there's Baron. Note that UCal doesn't have his Baron.
GA's available yet again as well for UCal and for Rookie.
This is the watershed moment for Invictus Gaming. This is one team fight, one mistake from being the nail in the coffin for KT.
Well, we got flashes in the mid lane. They're looking to try and catch on to Rookie, get rid of that GA. They get the flash to start it off, but Score. He's on point with the ultimate. Sterix is going to be proc, and Rookie still looking for more. Does go down to that GA, but now Invictus Gaming are going to turn up. Oh! Gigantic damage from the Vel'Koz. from the back end as well. And Rookie, he fell down in amongst the chaos.
2 down so far, 3 down, I should say. They want to break the base. No minion wave here just yet. That's why Aatrox will go bot lane. But Aatrox is splitting. Without a Barons, it's really going to be about the 4 members of KT.
They are just barely hanging on by a thread here. I think KT are going to go for the kill shot.
Well, Inhibitor turret is going to fall down. Inhibitor sure to follow as UCal. He's just going to push up the bottom wave.
They've got Jace.
It's going to be 2 Inhibitors or just the game here for KT. They're going to start on Nexus turret number 1. The Shy cops the shock blast to the face, the knockup flashed out of, but is he going to get out of the chains? Jackie Love explodes on the back end, the Nexus is exposed, but KT want more kills. Game 1 is going to go to LCK as the LPL falls. We'll see whether they can do it in game number 2, but this one is all KT.
My heart rate monitor shows me that it was a roller coaster, Atlas. It was looking like it was going to be a pretty straightforward run for KT. They played so well this game, and we saw those little moments where people talk about KT and IG in the same breath, but KT did it just a little bit better around the top lane. The Shy making risks that Smev wasn't willing to make, and yet the perfect team fight for Rookie came in, and then suddenly everyone thought this was going to be one of those collapses that KT has shown many times in the past.
2 super teams clash, the Prodigies versus the Legends, and it came down to the experience, the control. And if you're a KT fan, I'd feel very confident about that type of performance. They kept their cool, they wiggled around their composition, they understood when they needed to push and pull, and they got it done.
And my favorite thing is they showed us something new. This is deft on Vel'Koz, deft on a mage, which is something they've looked least suited for of the big teams. They made it work. It was a pick that had a lot of internal consistency with the counter pick to Morgana support we knew about, the Varus being an immobile carry as well. And they got a lot of value out of Deft because enough divers were in the backline that Rookie very infrequently could get anywhere near Deft.
Yeah, I want to talk about his positioning as well, especially that last team fight. Over the wall, they constructed and orchestrated the position for the fight so beautifully. And it was all off the back of Marta flash taunting to start it off as Score fan in the audience. Happy birthday to Score.
Oh,
Not going to be able to take the bow because, of course, he's got a broken leg, but he's still feeling pretty good about picking up a victory at an international final on his birthday.
And now the question becomes, who are going to be the next teams emerging from the
Whoa.
LCK
I need to know.
and the LPL? I think
What are the
it'll be-
predictions, guys? What are the predictions?
I think that you put Edward Gaming here because you want side selection for RNG at number 3, unless the LPL feel real desperate and throw RNG right now.
I think whatever the case, you throw a FLICKR Freaks in, you hit them yesterday, they're a team you have confidence in, and if you start up 2-0, you can throw an SKT at game 3 and say, if it's going to be RNG, that's fine. We'll have a good matchup for game number 4.
I think you're expecting RNG. If it was me, I'd just throw in SKT. They've been able to find victories against strong teams in the tournament, and if they lose, you can't play RNG until game 5, and that may never happen.
And this goes back to what Clement was saying on this desk, the idea that if LPL are all about momentum, then you must play RNG right now, because Clement doesn't believe that they'd be able to come back from an 0-2.
And I've heard the word from the Korean camp. If they have a very high certainty that RNG is coming in next, Kingzone want another go.
Oh, we use serious. We could potentially see another MSI final rematch, but guys, we are going to throw it back to the analyst desk to see what they made of game 1.
Ooh, wow, we can make a lot out of that. There are highlight reels, there's camping, there's snowballing, sieging and breaking sieges. Well, I think you can hear the fans.
I think we know which team is coming up next because you can hear the chants right now. It's going RNG, RNG, baby.
Spoiler alert. These people are mad. I'm mad at every single one of these people.
Yeah, but again, we have to actually break down what happened in this game because it wasn't just a one-sided affair. We actually did get to see a very close matchup between these 2 super teams. Let's go ahead and bring up the draft and take a look at how this shaped out because KT, they opened strong. They took that Aatrox first and put IG on the back foot.
And that's the thing. You're talking about the Aatrox. That's fantastic to see that the top side of the map is going to be some, or at least went towards UCal, that laning phase, you don't have to worry about it. The one that's really surprising to me is the Vel'Koz Shen in the bottom side of the map. We've seen a lot of iterations of kill lanes with Shen, but this one's real fun because they were able to see the Morgana.
Yeah, for me, though, it's still about breaking Invictus Gaming's lane kingdom because even though KT was playing on blue side, they actually got to select both of their matchups for their solo lanes. The Aatrox went mid, and the Jace was the counter pick against the top lane. So right off the bat, Invictus Gaming lost their biggest strength from those red side counter picks.
The power of flex. I mean, we talk about the LCK top teams really embracing it. Of course, the LPL teams haven't quite been so successful at that. That being said, though, we still got to see KT get to run their game in the top lane. It is Score's birthday, and he celebrated it by finding first blood.
Top side again and again.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say the first 14 minutes of the game were superb from him. That he recognized that Ryze is a very fragile top side of the map. That even with the Ryze Galio, I would say, set up for a gank, they don't have the damage to follow it up in a 2v1, let alone a 2v2. So he just went top side again and again and put the Ryze behind and made it so hard for him to impact the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big point. The Ryze was never able to siege break, because if you look at KT's composition, they're so good when they're set up. IG do have the tools to break it with the explosive cast and the Aurelia going in, but the Ryze was usually late to follow up, and that was the big threat throughout the entire mid game.
And when we did get to see that game actually explode open, it was in a fight in that bottom lane, where it was in fact IG who were trying to take the fight against KT, but Smeb got there first.
That's the problem, because the first 14 minutes was concocted by this topside matchup. Jace comes in on a TP, Ryze is not going to follow, he's topside freezing, doesn't have the TP himself. So ultimately, all of this was KT just snowballing in because they knew that they had the numbers.
I just love that flash trade right there. Mata getting the better side of that, getting to Jackie Love and the back line. Rookie actually didn't do anything this fight. He was cut off by UCal, and another great teamfight performance.
And that's the strength of that Aatrox, not just in team fights, but if you find someone out of position, if you find a small skirmish, he seems to fit in so many different situations. Of course, from there, we saw KT just run the KT game. They controlled the vision. They controlled every single lane. IG put up a valiant defense, but what can you do when every time you step into a brush, it's a Vel'Koz, it's a Sejuani?
And that's what the casters were constantly hitting on, was that both of these teams were really focused on early game. The fact that KT were able to get it, the major question is how are they able to hold their control wards when they actually got the vision that they had for themselves, and they were able to do that consistently. They had the pick potential, and they were able to use it. Morgana was very useful, was able to hold them into the game for a little bit longer, but it kept happening, and it made it very difficult for IG to hold firm.
I actually felt like IG did a very good job in holding that middle game. The disruption on the Herald and keeping the gold close.
That was nice.
They were never behind over 20 CS in any of their lanes. That was a big moment for them. That was only an objective gold, and KT only needed one disappointment, one familiar KT face, and we were going to go back all the way in.
I mean, they almost showed it when we saw the fight bottom lane. Invictus Gaming with the turnaround after being behind for so long, just out-mechanicsing the likes of KT.
You say disappointment, maybe the chat will say that. I say amazing. This was superb from the likes of Rookie, because he isolated, and he saw the Aatrox. He knew that he could get on top of him, and so he made it a goal to do so. Not only did Aatrox have his ultimate, had his Guardian Angel as well. So it was UCal who was finding himself super far behind from this one, and so he found his opening.
Yeah, definitely using the Triumph proc so well in the later stages of the team fight. And look at the Shy going in. The Flash actually dodges a ton of skill shots and gives them an opening to go in without the CC to really hold down Aurelia.
And Rookie on the left side of your screen right now, you can see he cleans up Smeb despite getting knocked up and is able to chase down UCal for the final one. But that really seems like that's what this game ended up turning into. It was the stalemate between the two teams, and it came down to the two mid laners to break that stalemate.
Rookie had a fantastic game. That one was one that was superb to watch, and then he put the onus on himself from that game forward, because we saw the Baron fight as well, where Rookie was looking to lie in wait and at least get somebody on the backside. It had to be Deft, because Deft was the sole focus of the team fights. If Deft goes down, no Vel'Koz ulti, and you were able to win it out, unfortunately, Flash comes through, and that's where it really fell apart for Invictus Gaming, that their sole focus in that match, Aurelia dies, and then the rest of Invictus Gaming, they end up having to run away and lose Baron.
Yeah, that was, that's kind of a disappointment there. Rookie still starting his career as a KT player, holding on to the tradition. I actually think he did fumble the last two team fights a little bit, as Raz were talking about right here. He didn't actually find the back line and basically died straight out of the stopwatch. After this, there was just no hope for Invictus Gaming.
And you can see the difficulty of the composition that Invictus Gaming has here, because I know that Papa Smithy made a mention of it, but how is Varus going to walk up in a lot of that? When Aurelia jumps in, sure, if he goes up for an auto attack range, then immediately they can blow him up. Varus is still available, alive, only blew out Flash, and can just really burst them out, regardless of the Morgana shield that comes through.
Yeah.
So it was a tough one from Invictus Gaming. They're trying to play from behind.
Yeah, a bit of a tragedy for IG to drop that game number one. That does put LCK in the lead, and we did just hear what those next two teams are. And coming up in game two, we've got SKT taking on the MSI champions of Royal Never Give Up. Go ahead and stew on that for a few minutes while we get ready for that next matchup.